Hey, yo.
Live with the NovaCore Podcast. I'll give a few minutes for anyone to get in here after they get the notification. Now, as I said, I have a few topics on hand, but most likely we're gonna get a little off track and start talking about random stuff. That's what a podcast is for. Let's talk about random topics, anything we want to give our opinions on, anything like that. So, but throughout the stream, if anyone who's watching, if you have questions, any comments you want to make, any topics you might want us to talk about, feel free to leave it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to dwell into that, I guess, and just have a little bit of fun, just talk about anything. Obviously, we reserve the right to say if we don't want to talk about something, but... What's up?
Jade, or Jay, always says the randomest things in Jade.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jade Zaffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one. Precisely.
Yep. As of right now, it's just me and Ninja here, or Caleb. Of course, I'm Gunny, obviously. We'll be joined by the Mighty Peeve here soon. I don't know exact timing, but he said he's going to be a little late. So he'll be here a little bit later, and any topics me and Caleb have went over, we'll most likely go back and talk to him about it. So we're going to be going for about an hour. We might end a little bit sooner than that. Could go 45 minutes. Caleb is currently playing Fortnite, so if you hear him making noises, well, he probably killed someone.
I just did 160 damage to a man's face with a pump shot.
And there you go.
He died instantly.
So yeah, anyone who's here in chat, feel free to speak up, say hi, anything. I'm gonna be waiting until Caleb here finishes his Fortnite game, then we'll get into the actual topics and whatnot. We're gonna be talking a little bit about the Overwatch League, some new developments that have happened in there, some new hiccups that happened, and also be looking at MMG Orlando going on right now with Halo tournament. The NovaCore Halo team is actually currently present in the open bracket for MMG Orlando going on right now. And then we're going to be talking a little bit about Sony and them exploring the possibility of letting their users change their PSN IDs. We're going to be talking just a little bit about those topics and anything else that may come up in between. I'm actually going to go ahead and pull up something so I can get more information.
We need Ninja Leslie up in here.
Yes, we do. We have a couple things to talk about for the Overwatch League. Houston Outlaws have added a Team USA player, so we're going to get into that.
13 minutes ago, our Halo team was defeated in the losers bracket.
But we'll get into that a little bit more later. Yeah, well, some people aren't as fast. I mean, on the console, it's very hard to quickly switch over and turn and play something. On PC, it's just like a flick of the wrist, just the mouse move right over.
Yeah, you can do hotkeys and everything, so if you have one of them.
I know on PC I have two buttons on the side of my mouse. I have one set to ramp, one set to wall. Simply just click that button, turn around, and just place walls. Not like on Xbox where I have to hit the button and fumble through which one I'm selected, which material, and all that stuff.
What? I just died. He had 9 health left.
Well,
I'm upset. Okay. Well, what can you do?
Yeah. This is gonna be the official start then. So first off, we're gonna start with the Overwatch League. This is a little bit of old information. Not sure if you've heard of it, Caleb, but obviously the league price to get into the Overwatch League for Season 1 was 20 million, right?
Yes, I knew this.
Yes, and then now moving on to season 2 after we get once Activision Blizzard wants to actually expand on it, the price could range between 35 to 60 million.
Oh my.
Which has caused a lot of analysts to say that they could have troubles in the out of U.S. markets, because here in the U.S. investors are very open with their money. They'll take chances on stuff, but over in Asia and Europe, it's a lot more closed-minded over there. Mostly in the European countries. That's why we have one Chinese team, one South Korean team. And I think only one team in the Overwatch League is actually owned by a out of U.S. Company.
Yeah, I was about to say, and I'm pretty sure that's Seoul Dynasty, if I'm correct.
Actually, I don't think it was Seoul, because I think Seoul is actually a U.S. company as well, but I could be wrong on that. But anyway,
you have like all the franchises owned by the U.S., but all the players are from.
Yeah, I believe there's three. I believe there's 3 teams that are full of Korean. Yeah, I believe that's New York, Spitfire, and Seoul.
Yep.
Yeah. Obviously, New York, London, Seoul.
And then you have Korean players on Dallas Fuel. Dallas do not have one. I think there's.
The Outlaws have a Korean coach.
U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only Korean player, the only Korean person they actually have. I think they have 2 Korean coaches. That's it. But all their players are, in fact, I believe, from the U.S. or Europe.
Yeah, because Link Series from Sweden.
Yep. Speaking of the Outlaws, I guess that's a good transition. The Outlaws added Victon. How do you say his name? FCTN. His real name Russell Campbell. Apparently, he was
But I did.
He was on Team USA during the Overwatch World Cup. Played alongside fellow Outlawed players Jake, Cool Matt, and Raucus. So obviously, Team USA finished 8th place. They were eliminated by South Korea.
Tank player?
Yes, he is a tank player, and he is going to be taking up that main sub behind Muma, who is the only tank on Houston Outlaws, from what I'm reading. I thought they had a second tank, but I could be completely wrong.
Cool Matt is technically a flex off tank.
Okay.
And Muma is considered the main tank. So.
Okay. I'm going to refer to this guy as FC because I can't pronounce his name. But apparently, so FC is going to be taking over the.
I'll try to figure this out because it will annoy me.
Yeah. So FC will be taking the sub spot for the tank on the Houston Outlaws. Anytime Muma can't play or they want to sub in someone different with a different play style, I guess FC will most likely take over then. That's the only roster addition that the Houston Outlaws have actually made this offseason. They are sitting at 12 players, which means they can add one more to hit their cap at 13, I think. I can actually confirm this. Yes, team now has 12 players, which is one more spot to fill if they want. Okay. On Overwatch news, see who else has actually been added here. Obviously, there's a lot of developments in the Contenders League, which almost all of the Overwatch League teams, professional teams, have actually have a Contenders team now. Obviously, like basically the semi-pro league of the Pro Overwatch League. And let's see. 3 days ago, the Seoul Dynasty and New York Excelsior have added some support players. Let's see, the Excelsior added Animu, I believe his name is, and Seoul Dynasty added Gambler. Apparently, they're both well known for Lucio play. If I said that right, I'm not an Overwatch player, everyone, so I don't no Overwatch too much, but I have been following the Overwatch League a little bit. Yes, I think Stage 2 starts the 21st. Can you confirm, Caleb?
Hey guys, welcome to Old
I will check.
That was a good video in the background.
Let's see. Stage 2 will start the 21st.
Yes, the 21st. Okay. So that's basically it for Overwatch news. Obviously the price for being raised from 20 million to between 35 and 60. It's going to cause quite the I don't know. I don't know how to phrase it. It's going to be it's quite the price for any non-US investor or team to actually front up that cost. But as it's proven, as the Overwatch League has proven, your teams are more than likely to actually make that money back, and the Activision Blizzard has actually easily invested that money perfectly into the stage, to the programming, to the casters, to just the whole production as a whole. So I believe it might be a little bit steep for 60 million, but could possibly be worth it depending on what they do in this next season when they add those new teams. Obviously in the next season, I do believe they're going to be switching to hometown stuff for arenas. For season 1, they obviously are just all in Los Angeles at the Blizzard Arena or whatever it's called, just doing all their stuff there. But I think next season, after we get through all these stages and get through playoffs, I do believe it'll be moving to hometown stuff. For example, Dallas Field will be playing in Dallas, Houston will be playing in Houston, Seoul will probably be playing in Seoul, Shanghai, so on, so on. So yeah, there's that. And we'll move on to the next topic, which was MLG Orlando going on right now with Halo, the Halo World Championship Series, I believe it's called. Is that correct? World Championship Series?
Yes.
Okay. Our team, NovaCore, was actually at the event playing in the open bracket. Unfortunately, we fell to Sway Gaming in the losers bracket just about half hour ago. So that is upsetting, but we were able to at least defeat a couple teams there. We were able to at least be at an event and be there, have our name out there, have our jerseys out there. There's a FFA event apparently still available, so maybe some of the guys can bring home something in the free-for-all tournament. I do believe all the big names are at MLG Orlando. Probably we got Optic, obviously, which is most likely the favorite to win. Being completely honest, I don't keep up on Halo news, honestly. Halo, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest Halo. So.
But out there, what was it? Biggest Halo events, we said?
I said Orlando is one of the biggest Halo events every year. So.
Bound to be quite big.
All the big name teams are there.
Yeah, I saw the stage for Orlando. I'm not sure if you saw a picture of the stage, but it looks quite amazing.
Mm-hmm. Halo's now they're sponsored by MLG again, and MLG run now last year. So
yeah, I see some of their sponsors up on the middle screen. They have Pacific Rim Uprising. I think that's the movie name. I don't remember. Let's see, Pacific Rim. Samsung, Microsoft Surface, 343 Industries, obviously. And MLG is just then the broadcaster and showrunner. So honestly, I'm not too sure what to make of the actual stage itself. Definitely, it looks very interesting. I think I definitely prefer the Overwatch League stage. Then again, it's really gonna be kind of hard to top that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's beating the Blizzard Arena.
Yeah, I mean, obviously these events, like all the MLG events, any UMG event, any events that are set up within a weekend, they have to build these stages quite fast, unless you're talking about Call of Duty World Championships or something, where they had a full week to set up in the Orlando Arena or whatever was the place that was held.
Mm-hmm.
So these events, obviously, they're not going to be so really flashy, but they do their best. And I think here in the Halo here in this MLG Orlando. I think they did quite a good job to actually make it look all right. Let's see. Moving on, something that kind of caught a lot of people by surprise. Sony, obviously makers of PlayStation and whatnot, they're apparently sent on a survey to some users or something about the idea of letting users change their PSN ID, which PSN ID is basically the equivalent to the Xbox gamer tag. It's just the name on your PlayStation. So obviously Xbox has been able to do that for quite a long time. You get one free name change, and after that I believe it's what, $10?
Yes.
Yeah, $10. So now it's unclear about what Sony's actually gonna is gonna charge for it. Obviously they're not gonna just let people change their name willy-nilly whenever they want. There's probably gonna be some sort of restriction into it. But it was kind of interesting because Sony kind of like had this stance where the people weren't allowed to change their PSN for many years, like way back into PlayStation 3 days. So I don't know, what do you think about them now just kind of turntailing and now asking this question?
Do you have to pay to change it?
We don't know. It's
Just
just it was just a question asking about if they, I think if they would want that, or how would they feel about that. There was no information on pricing or anything like that.
If it is like Xbox, it's probably just, I would say, like a monetary thing, just another way to make money. If it's like $5 or $10 for just like Xbox, and I mean, they could probably make a lot of money putting that in.
But no doubt, yeah. Obviously, there's no numbers on how much money Xbox actually makes off of their name change, but you gotta suspect that it's quite a bit. Like, with Call of Duty esports moving off of the Xbox, I'm sure that kind of drove down sales quite a bit, though, because obviously in the amateur section, you had people changing their names like constantly for new teams that they joined, when they left teams, like all this kind of stuff. I'm sure you kind of can attest to that, right, Caleb?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So now on the PlayStation, I kind of always wondered what happened when a pro player were to change teams. Would they have to make a whole new account, or because you look at like teams like Optic, like I know Crim6 has like his gamer tag like Optic Crim6, obviously. So what were to happen if, like, for example,
all the Optic guys too.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Formal's the Optic Scump is Scump of stuff.
Yeah, I think they all have their Optic in their name some way or another. So kind of wondering how they would do that. Like how exactly if they were to change teams, like obviously they can't change names, so would they completely abandon that gamer tag and make a new account?
I wouldn't think so, but I don't know, because most other pro players are like, it's just their name, like they go by.
Yeah.
Like, I can't really think of any other team besides Optic that does that, now that I think of it.
Yeah, well, now
because
I think
Apathy
back in the...
isn't EG Apathy, Aches isn't EG Aches, Clayster isn't E United Clayster. Like, I can't really think of any team that does that.
I think when they first made the switch, I think that's when there was a lot of people who had that who had those team names in their PSN.
Mm-hmm.
If you can remember back then, like there was a lot of like when FaZe had it, there was a bunch of just FaZe gamer tags.
Mm-hmm.
But now it seems like everyone's kind of went to their universal gamer tag, so I guess they probably don't have to change it. But maybe with the idea now of them maybe being able to change it, do you think they might actually start putting the team names back in their gamer tags or whatnot?
I'm not positive. Like, maybe if like the organization wants to just get the name out there, that might be like
right. They'll probably just...
in your contract or something, to just put the org name out in front of your name every time you use it, like on Twitter and Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, it'll probably be more used for instead of pro players, probably more used for the amateur scene. Because
all the Optic guys as well, their Twitter ats are at Optic like blank. So like if they change their Twitter at, they lose like their verification. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in like the Optic contracts or not.
Yeah, well, all the Optic guys, they've been on the team for so long that I think that verification rule, I think that actually, I don't know, that sort of didn't that come into effect like only a couple years ago?
I'm not positive.
I think it may have, but either way, yeah, like you look at, for example, Clayster on Twitter, they have, like I think he's only just like, what, Clayster or something?
Yeah, at Clayster.
Yeah. So
his name though, like, is EU Clayster, but his ad is Clayster.
But obviously, if you change just your name, not your at, it doesn't actually change your verification status. So that's just for you to change. So I guess moving on to like Call of Duty esports, I think what stage or group 2 is was
Division
this week?
B.
Division B was this week for the Call of Duty World League in Columbus, Ohio.
Yep.
I don't exactly know the standings or anything from that.
I've been keeping up with it a little bit, but you know, I'm an Optic fan mostly, so I pretty much just watch Division A. But Division B, I believe Epsilon, they play 7 games, 7 matches a week. Epsilon went 0-7, so that's not very good. E United went 2-5.
Yeah,
and
I see the standings right now.
Yeah, so I believe they're in 7th place, if I remember.
Yes, they are.
Okay, and that means that if they stay in that 7th and 8th spot, they go to relegation. And this is and that's pretty bad for E United considering who's on that team.
Yes, they have
everyone on that team has won a
Pristini, Arcides, Clayster. Who's their Silly? Yeah, Pristini's, Arcides, Silly, Clayster. That's a pretty star-studded lineup considering what Arcides and Pristini pulled off last year.
Yeah. And then you have Clayster, who's one of the most decorated people in the COD scene, so
yeah.
I don't know. They lost to EG, they lost to Unilad. They just losing the people they shouldn't lose to.
Yeah. I think some of the biggest surprises was definitely FaZe Clan starting to come back out. FaZe Clan sitting at 5-2.
They started the week 0-2 actually, so they
went 5-0 in their last matches then. Wait, it was a little bit surprising because FaZe was kind of had a rocky past few months, past few events. They haven't really been at top form. The same could be said about
rough couple of years after Advanced Warfare.
Yep, and the mighty Peep has now joined us, graced us with his presence.
As usual. How goes it?
Goes fine. We're currently talking about stage or Division B in the Call of Duty World League.
Okay.
So, not sure if you probably don't follow the Call of Duty competitive scene that much.
I do a little bit, not very religiously, but I follow it a little bit nonetheless.
Gotcha. So now, since you joined, I need to adjust all of my spacing here and sizing.
We've got a whopping 1 viewer right now.
Yeah. Nope, I don't think this is going. It's not going hot, but we're having fun anyway.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Interesting topics.
Yeah. I guess going back, I'll re-ask some of these questions now that you're here. I'm not sure if you heard any of them. Probably weren't listening at all to the stream at all, Peeve. But number one, the Overwatch League. I'm not sure. Do you follow the Overwatch League at all?
I follow it a little bit. I saw today that they were talking about Overwatch contenders. So.
Yeah, that's basically the semi-pro league. Think of in baseball they have the AAA minor, like the minor A's, like the minors, like those are all like the up and coming guys,
right.
All prospects. And then basketball you have the G League. So it's all the prospects. It's a place where teams can store their players that may not be up to the caliber of the pros on the starting lineup, but they don't want to lose them. They want to continue to advance their skills.
Right.
But anyway, talking about the Overwatch League, the original price to get a franchise in the Overwatch League was $20 million. You probably know this, right, Peep?
Yeah, it's a very steep price.
Oh, I think that's a steep price. Going into Season 2, after we get past all the stages and the playoffs, presumably, the price is going to be raised to between $35 to $60 million.
Ooh.
Pretty.
Man. See, the problem with that is that, I'm talking like teams like the Cavaliers and the Dallas Mavericks and all that kind of stuff. Teams that are in talks with esports players right now are really going to have to be the backbone of, like, players in the Overwatch League as far as buying in.
Yeah, well, I believe the minimum salary for a player is $50,000. Right?
Yeah, it's something around there.
Yeah.
Here, actually, I just read this. A player in the Overwatch League has a $50,000 minimum base salary, health care, and retirement savings plan, and housing provided during the season.
Yeah, it's basically, that is their job. They get all the benefits of, like, a normal 9-to-5 job would get.
Mm-hmm.
That is a
well
steep
taken
price.
It's quite incredible how far esports has actually come.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard talks of esports being brought into the Olympics, which is super nice. It's definitely making strides. So
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Olympic Committee would ever actually approve that, and honestly, I'm not sure if I really like to see esports in the Olympics. I think I don't remember who it was. Some pro player, I think COD or something, said that it's just too complicated to bring into the Olympics.
That was Karma.
yeah.
Karma? Okay.
I know there have been talks to bring in like StarCraft 2 because a lot of Olympic committees were saying that games such as Call of Duty and Overwatch and Halo were just too violent for what they were trying to represent at the Olympics.
I've never understood people calling Overwatch violent. There's no blood in it. The most gore in Overwatch is literally when you kill Bastion and he explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. I think Overwatch it'd be a really good, if it were to go to Olympics, I think Overwatch would be the perfect one to actually bring into it.
Overwatch,
Absolutely.
like League of Legends.
Yeah.
League of Legends would be a good one.
They might. CSGO, I think, would be awesome because I love watching CSGO events.
Yeah, I don't think CSGO would make it in, though.
That's that.
No, CSGO is definitely breaking the violent barrier.
Yeah, I think Overwatch kind of fits the bill absolutely perfectly, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's like you guys said, there's no gore. Like the most gore is when Bastion blows up. But yeah, I think it would absolutely just fit that bill perfectly. It has really high viewer numbers. It's like I think it's been proven many times. Like I don't remember the exact numbers of what it was for the first week, but it was very high.
Oh yeah.
They reached 300,000.
Yeah, 300,000.
It was over 300,000.
Yeah, over 300,000 viewers for just week one, and then each week they're kind of obviously just like any TV show, any broadcast, like they're gonna lose viewers each week because people start to lose interest. It's just, but the thing that these like executives they look at how fast they're losing viewership.
Right.
Like it's not all about like you're gonna
100K though every time I see.
Right, yeah. Like you're gonna lose viewers. It's just all about how you're gonna keep like your core fan base there. You'll eventually hit a point to where you stop losing viewers and you don't necessarily gain, but you don't lose. You sit at that concurrent just like base. You just sit there.
Yeah.
You wanna make sure that base is a solid number.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's
the viewers only go up when teams like the Outlaws and Soul play. Like
yeah.
Just orgs with huge followings. Like, they just spike up on it.
Like for example, the CS:GO League. I mean, not a whole lot of people watch that, but like as soon as FaZe announced that they were like getting big players into CS:GO, it took a major spike because there was just a ton of FaZe fanboys that flocked to the CSGO scene just to watch their team and support their team.
Well, it was the same thing with Optic. When Optic originally picked up their CSGO team, there was a huge spike in viewership for any tournament that they played in because it's Optic. They have one of the biggest fan bases around the world.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane, like how much influence a single team can have in the viewership of a certain esport.
Yeah, I remember when like the Boston major for CS:GO was the grand finals. Like the teams weren't that like. I mean, it was FaZe and Cloud9, but like there's a lot bigger teams in CS:GO than those two teams. Like European
absolutely.
Wars. And there were over 1 million people watching the stream on Twitch for the grand finals of the major.
Yeah. It was quite crazy.
Mainly because it was just US versus Europe, because a US team in CS:GO had never won a major. So Cloud9 was the first to do that.
Yeah, and the fact that the game went to final map double overtime.
Yeah.
It was definitely there was talk like, you know, it could have been fixed, like to do that, like to go to that last map, to go double overtime just to bring viewership numbers in, but however it was definitely a crowd spectacle. Like it was very good for spectators. It was good for the CS:GO scene to rejuvenate itself because it has been losing viewership. Like there's less people tuning into a CS:GO stream than there is now that there's new games coming out that like
Fortnite's blown up Twitch.
Fortnite.
It's top 5 every time I open.
Yeah, Fortnite has definitely taken over the scene, and well, speaking of like battle royale games, we talked about this like a couple weeks ago or something. The possibility of PUBG becoming a esport. Which
I just don't know how they would make that work.
I voiced my opinion when we talked about it last time, but I don't think any battle royale can be a big esport because there's so much of a it's basically it's a luck factor.
Yeah, there's way too much chance to it. The only way I could see it working out is if like obviously like it's a 100-player battle royale. So you've got a bunch of different squads of 4. That's what, 25 squads of 4?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my math right. And I mean, you would have to spawn them in all with equivalent gear or some kind of system like a CS:GO type system where they can purchase gear based on kills or resources collected, whatever.
Or we do like where the PUBG developers have to design a map where it's linear on all, like it's like a circle map, it's all linear, and teams can spawn in at a certain location. Obviously it'd take out the element of like parachuting in, but it'd still be like teams could still find random loot, but there'd be predetermined loot in their select area, so each team would technically start out with equivalent gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be the only way to actually make it fair, because as it is right now, a team could get just very, very unlucky at the beginning and just be knocked out of the tournament right away.
Yeah.
Because like there's been times in Fortnite where I've landed at a house like in retail or just one of the smaller towns, and I'll come out of the house and there was no gun.
Yeah.
That, of course, that's really unlucky to have like absolutely no gun, like not even a pistol. But it happens, and just if that's a possibility in an esport, I don't think that can.
It takes out a lot of skill factor when you leave things up to luck. Would I like to see PUBG be competitive? Absolutely, but it would be very hard to do.
Like H1 tried it, and H1 eventually just ended up dying. But
yeah,
H1 did try it, and like you had people that were far and above better than some of the other players in the game. If you found a shotgun and the other guy found an M16 and you're at range, you're just not mechanically going to win.
And I think we kind of get into this cycle in PUBG games, or not PUBG games, in battle royale games, where like H1 was the first one, quote unquote, like that actually made it mainstream. And then PUBG came along and kind of killed off H1. And now we have Fortnite coming along that's kind of killing off PUBG.
Yeah, actually, Dr. Disrespect has started streaming Fortnite.
Yeah,
so,
it's basically...
I mean, if he's coming over, then I think all PUBG has now is Shroud.
Yeah. And even, like, it's honestly a matter of time before Shroud comes over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just... It's just a cycle. Like it's one game will come out that will kill the next, that will kill the previous.
Yeah, I've seen so many people compare Fortnite to Modern Warfare 2 in the sense of it's just bringing a lot of people together very quickly and in a very like popular manner. Because I'll have to say too, like I haven't seen people squad up and interact with so many people in the way that they have with Fortnite since Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 2, at least on console. I mean, the closest thing would have to be Destiny, but even then, you've got your small circle of people.
Yeah, I think it's just in Fortnite, it's a very, as compared to PUBG. PUBG is like, it's a dreary game, it's very military, like, it's slow, it's big, you have, like, you could go a whole match, you go, 20 minutes in a match without seeing a single person if you really like.
Yeah.
So I think Fortnite, it's a lot smaller map, it's a lot more colorful, there's building, like there's a lot more things for players to do. It's a lot more fun. So
developer interaction with public with Epic is just, it's really something I've never seen before. Because they're so interactive on Twitter.
Because they were like, they talked about bringing in skill-based matchmaking. And they altered what they were going to do based on like player feedback in a super quick manner. They didn't just go ahead and push out the update anyway. They actually listened what people had to say about it, and that's just crazy. You don't get that kind of developer interaction very often.
Yeah, Epic Games is kind of like they're kind of raising the bar to what a game development company should be doing. Like they need to, number one, be very in tune with what the community wants. Obviously, I look at games like Call of Duty. It's very hard to appease the Call of Duty community because there's so many different types of players. Yeah. But in Fortnite, you have kind of one set thing. You need to just win. You need to be the last people alive. I personally, and I know Caleb agrees, we don't like the minigun. We think the minigun was a mistake. But there's a lot of other people who really like the minigun, who like the idea of being able to destroy a base like super easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that there's a weapon to like counteract the RPG and what the RPG does, like base, like destroying wise. But like, I just think there needs to be more downsides to a weapon like that. Like, you can sprint with the minigun. I don't think you should be able to sprint with it.
No, I definitely think the minigun should slow you down.
There's no cooldown. Like, you can't overheat the gun. I know it's not the most realistic game, but you can fire 1,000 bullets out of the minigun without ever letting go of the trigger. And I don't think it should be that way.
Yeah, no, the gun would have been melted at that point. But yeah, I believe, with the fan interaction that Epic actually has brought along, like the constant updates, like I think they're on like a weekly update thing.
Yeah, like they're putting in new items, new weapons, like every week.
Yeah, like just very recently they added, what's the new grenade called, Caleb?
The impulse grenade.
Yeah, the impulse grenade. Basically, throw it down at yourself or at enemies, just sends you or the enemy flying.
I've seen some sick plays with the new grenade, actually. Like, my Twitter feed has been full of absolutely nasty plays today. Yeah,
it's definitely, it's brought in a new play style. Like, you could, obviously, if you jump from a really high place, like if you go to the top of Tilted Towers and jump off of it, you ain't gonna get your parachute. Yeah, you're splatting on the ground. But it's if you place just a couple ramps and then throw it behind you, you can jump over a building quickly. So, like, I think Caleb, that was you, right?
What?
I need to go look at your video. You placed a couple ramps, then jumped over a building and
I jumped over.
Shot a rocket at someone.
On top of my. Like, he had no idea where I went either. Like, He was looking the opposite direction the whole time.
Yeah.
So since we're on the topic of Fortnite, what do you guys think about being able to ride the rocket launcher?
I think it's just one of those things, like, of course it's not realistic or it's not always practical. It's just one of those things that make Fortnite.
Yeah.
You can just do plays like that.
It's one of the things that sets Fortnite apart. Like,
it's kind of like,
it's a very random game.
It's kind of like Battlefield versus COD. Like, you can't jump out of a jet in Call of Duty, pop your parachute, and snipe someone from your parachute. Like, you can't do that in Call of Duty. You can do it in Battlefield. And it just makes Battlefield, like, just different from Call of Duty in that sense. You can do stuff like that. Like, you can put C4 below a car, blow up the car, and have the car land on something. You can't do that in Call of Duty. It's just one of those things.
That's my favorite thing to do in Battlefield is place C4 on stuff and drive it into things.
Like, in PUBG, you can't ride a rocket launcher. I don't think there is a rocket launcher.
No.
So,
PUBG is very just AR based. The AR is basically the final thing, like that, and like a marksman rifle.
yeah. I can't play it on console because it's 30 FPS and I'm doing it myself. But what was I gonna say? But it's just too slow. Like, Fortnite's not slow, it's just fast. You do stuff in the moment. PUBG, like, if you're caught up in the open, you're dead. Basically, there's no chance of you surviving.
Yeah, unless the person has very bad aim.
Yeah, me and one of my buddies were actually playing PUBG not too long ago, and I remember, like, watching, like, the circle or whatever decrease, and it was like a 40-minute match, something around there, and we sat in a house, like one single house, just watching windows for the majority of it.
Yeah, it's just incredibly slow.
No thrill factor to it.
Yeah, I believe for a game like PUBG, with how big the map is, it's not suited for only for 100 players. It needs to be...
It should be like each one, like 160.
Yeah, or at least like 125, 150. Just up it a little bit, just to add more people to that match. Like, I know you get a lot of people like going to like military base, like where you could get like a quarter of the players in the game just to go to that one spot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe at that point, maybe add in some new areas, add in some like smaller areas that could accommodate only.
I mean,
one
even
team.
in Fortnite, that happens sometimes. Like, you'll go into
we saw what happened at Tilted that day.
Yeah.
Where literally, like, it was like half of the game just went to that one spot.
20 people every game in Fortnite land Tilted. There's sometimes will be games where just people don't hit one of the big towns. Just for some reason, they just don't.
Yeah, and then you can randomly come across it and be like, wow, this isn't looted.
Yeah.
It's like it's battle royale games. They're very like mind games. Like, at the beginning, when you want to jump into an area, you got to think, like, is there gonna be other people here? Like, maybe I shouldn't go there because it kind of seems like there's gonna be a lot of people going there. And then you jump to your place and you think, oh, there isn't a lot of people here. Then you finally turn around or to your like left or right, and there's like 5 people sitting right there.
Yep.
It's the luck of the draw, honestly. That's why, like, that's the whole business model behind battle royale games is the randomness. It's the RNG. It's like, what am I gonna get in this random building?
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna beat the guy that's in the building next to me, or am I just gonna get a 1 grenade?
It's
I think
the thrill factor.
Go ahead.
It's definitely like the thrill factor of battle royale. It's driving the game.
Right. It's the adrenaline you get when you're fighting, when you're one-on-one with someone, or you're like the last like 2 or 3 people left. Like, it's kind of that adrenaline. Like, you're looking around trying to find the person, trying to hit your shots, like all that stuff.
Going back to like just like Fortnite versus PUBG, like when you said 1v1, if you get it down to a 1v1, like, and you don't win it, you come in second. Like, Fortnite, you probably wasted like just like 15 minutes of your time or something. If you do that in PUBG, you wasted like at least 45 minutes.
Yeah. They're extremely long games.
So it's just another thing that Fortnite, like, some Fortnite games you can play, you'll never stop shooting, you'll never stop being shot at. Just how the game plays. In PUBG, you can go, like y'all said, just 15 minutes without seeing someone. It's just how slow the game is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously that's what battle royale games do. It's supposed to be wide open world, like big maps. Like you're supposed to be able to run around, or like in PUBG's case, get in a car and drive to new locations. And then the circle is obviously supposed to start condensing those players so they start seeing each other and killing each other off. Obviously, Fortnite doesn't necessarily need to do that as fast as it does, but it makes the game faster. But normally in Fortnite, you're gonna have another, like, just say if you're playing like duos, you're gonna have another 2 people most likely dropping with you at the same place. So you're most likely gonna get an engagement right there, and then probably a good 5 minutes later, if that, you're probably gonna come across another team.
Mm-hmm.
Like Caleb said, it's gonna be most likely non-stop action.
Yeah, there's just some games I play in Fortnite. Like, it mostly happens like duos and squad, just because of the nature of those. But like, there's some games where you just don't stop moving, you don't stop getting shot at.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what makes Fortnite
Yeah, and I personally, like, as much as I like playing battle royale games and like playing Fortnite, I can't really bring myself to commit like a lot of time to it. Like, I know, Caleb, you spend like all day on Fortnite. You are absolutely in love with that game. But for myself personally, I can't actually commit like a good hour or 2 hours of my time to playing that game. At least not alone. Like, if I'm with a team, if I'm having fun with friends.
It's a lot better with a team, like most games, but
yeah. Like, I 100% can't play that game soloed for too long. Mostly because, like, I can't bring my attention span is like that of a rodent. I can't stay on one thing for too long. So when I'm playing Fortnite, I can't stand in one spot and look out a window for someone for like more than 10 seconds. So, and then I have to get moving. And normally by that point, I then get shot in the back. So I'm not a patient player. Like, this is evident of my Call of Duty gameplay. I need to be running around.
Mm-hmm. You and me both, brother.
Yeah, like I will never understand how people can sit in one spot for more than like 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm. That's why I usually get mad when I play S&D, because I play S&D the same way I play Hardpoint. And that's probably not how I should play S&D, but I don't like sitting in corners.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how I play pubs at Pub S&D, and it works.
Oh yeah, well that's because most people
no clue what they're doing. Like that team we faced a couple days ago. Yeah,
like that's how I'm able to go like 50 and 16 with a shotgun and satchel charges in pubs, because you can just completely outplay mainly every that you play against.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Peep doesn't actually know the story. Caleb, do you want to explain the story of those guys that challenged us to a 3v3?
Oh yes, I would love to hear this.
Okay, so we just finished a Hardpoint game, I believe it was. Yeah. And I got a message from a guy. They were in like a little clan, like based on clan tag.
It was like C4 or something with their clan tag.
Yeah, it was C4. And so they messaged me and said, "Do you and your friends want to 3v3?" And these kids ended up being absolutely terrible people. But I believe they only messaged us this is because, one, I was running around with a shotgun. James was sniping, I believe, and I believe Gunny, you were too, using the Volt.
I had like a Bren, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was the day you were using the Bren. So they messaged us to do that. So they set up they were hosting. Terrible host, by the way. And before, like, okay, so it's competitive rules, so no DLC weapons usually.
Right.
Yeah, we were all under that impression, so we were using like PPSHs, bars, FGs, like all that stuff. Yeah,
so we get out into the hardpoint. All 3 of them are using Volks right off and 2 of them are using rapid fire.
Oh no.
So but we slayed them off a hill right away, though.
Yeah, Gunny kills like 3 of them, or all 3 of them, and to start the game off. And Gunny ended up with like 58. I ended up with like 46. Like, the game should have ended like 250 to like 12, but like Gunny just called out, get out of hill, and just play as long as we can. So we ended up getting like 150 kills combined through our team.
Jeez.
Yeah, I basically, like I said, when I kind of noticed that we were gonna beat them by a healthy margin, and I think Caleb said, hey Johnny, you need to get 60 or something like that. So I'm like, okay, everyone just get out of hill, let them do what they want, let's just get kills. So it came down to the end of it where it actually was gonna go to time limit. So I kind of said like, all right, juggle hill, see what we can get like every single second out of this, so I can see what I can do. And I think at one point I went on like a 15 kill streak because I picked up one of their Volks. We didn't have any classes with DLC weapons, obviously, because we thought this was going to be competitive rule sets. So we kept picking up their Volks and then destroying them with it. So I literally sat fire tank on Arden's Forest. You know where fire tank is, right?
Yes.
It's in the middle of that tank on fire, obviously. So I sat there for like a good, like probably a full 60 seconds for like the bunker hardpoint. I sat there and just kept turning over and over again, just killing them as they were trying to come out of each area. It was absolutely hilarious. Like, we originally thought, like, okay, let's like put our try-hard pants on. Let's actually try here.
We just wanted to destroy them just by trying, but we didn't even have to try to destroy them. So.
Yeah, we got into it. We're like, the second we like got the first like wipe, the first set of kills, we're like, okay, this is how it's gonna be.
Yeah, it was not bad.
Did you get a message following the game?
No, it was supposed to be a best of 5, but they left.
Yeah, they left after first map.
Because it was supposed to be like CWL best of 5, hardpoint, S&D, CTF, stuff like that. But they left and got offline after first map. So
yeah, I think they
sad.
definitely misinterpreted what we were. They probably thought we were really bad. Like I said, Caleb was using a shotgun. James or Cole was using the sniper rifle. I was using a Bren, which is an LMG, obviously, the 2-shot thing. Yeah, it was... I guarantee you they were really underestimating us. So like, alright, this is the only thing these guys use. They're going to be terrible. Got into the game. I bet you 100%, once we showed that we were using PPSHs, we were running around with, like, CWL variant, all this MLG stuff, basically. All these tactics and everything. They're pretty sure they were kind of like, oh crap.
it was a pretty fun game.
It was hilarious. Like, that was probably the most fun I've had playing Call of Duty in a while. Just doing that to them.
It's just like one of the GBs you do versus like the 22 people.
Yeah, it's like
12-year-olds that play GBs.
Yeah, and I honestly I can't wait until teams actually get added to rank play.
Oh, absolutely.
Apparently, according to Sledgehammer, take what Sledgehammer says with a grain of salt. Obviously, they're looking into adding the four-player addition to it. But I had no idea what the matter is wrong with it. They did it in Black Ops 2. I don't understand why we can't do it in World War II. But anyway,
I think they'll get it figured out, which, I mean, at this point, Call of Duty's hitting that part in every year where, like, it's starting to die down and people are getting ready for the hype for the next Call of Duty.
And the hype is definitely real because it's a Treyarch game. It's Black Ops 4. It's told to be in a modern setting, no advanced movement. Like, it's setting itself up, if the rumors are true, to be an absolutely incredible game.
Just Treyarch's track record with players. I honestly think Treyarch could make another jetpack game and not honestly people would get mad, but like it'd be a good game because it's just Treyarch and their reputation.
Yeah. Like, they could honestly do the same thing they did with Black Ops 3 and still make a hit.
Yeah, just different maps, new weapons, but like the same movement system. I really don't think anyone would care that much.
Yeah, as long as we don't get a map like Redwood, we'll be good.
I've never grinded a COD that much. I've never had that much fun playing COD in any other COD besides that one. Just it basically because it's like Fortnite in the sense where you could just do stuff you couldn't do in any other Call of Duty with like the wall runs and just the specialists and stuff like that.
Yeah, Infinite Warfare definitely did not even like hold a light to how good Black Ops 3 was.
I will give Infinite Warfare credit where credit's due. Their movement system was basically Black Ops 3, just...
It felt like you had cinder blocks on your feet.
Well, yeah, it was toned down a lot, and I mean, I think that was kind of to try to combat the negativity that was going around about advanced movement. They were trying to keep people on the ground a little bit more, which they did sort of. There was a lot more people on the ground in Infinite Warfare than there was in Black Ops 3. But I mean, obviously, there was still a lot of times where people were just flying around in the air.
Yeah.
And weapon variants just...
Yeah, anytime weapon variants is added to a Call of Duty game, it breaks it completely unless it's only cosmetic. Like we saw what happened in Advanced Warfare, where when weapon variants were first introduced, it completely broke the game.
If you didn't have an Obsidian Steed, you just shouldn't.
Yeah, or a Speakeasy.
Yeah, I had neither of those.
Yep, neither did I.
And they didn't have the system where you could buy it with like credits and stuff.
Yeah, that's the one thing Infinite Warfare did good with their variant system, is you could buy them.
But it took you literally 3 months to get enough for an epic weapon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you definitely had to grind.
I never got enough to get, because that game, I did not like that game, man.
I think World War II is the closest to a supply drop weapon variant system that we've gotten to being perfect so far. It's cosmetic only. Obviously, there are DLC weapons, and the Volk is incredibly overpowered. But you can get all of these DLC weapons through the contracts from the, like through the special contracts.
You can get all the DLC weapons through contracts. You can't get all the normal weapons.
Well, yeah, not the normal weapons, but the normal weapons are only cosmetic though, so it's not a huge deal. Obviously, with the Epic and Heroic, there are advantages because you do get increased soldier XP, but
you get
honestly,
5% more XP and they look so much better than Epic.
But they don't add anything to your gameplay besides maybe a different iron sight, which not a lot of people use iron sights as it is. Yeah. And personally, a lot of people use the Snake variant on the PPSH, and I absolutely hate that iron sight. Like I find the normal PPSH iron sight to be perfectly fine. It doesn't need to be changed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Snake one has this.
It has like the circle one with the thing in the middle. It's like it's really small and annoying.
Yeah, but the Snake is of course the only heroic.
Yeah. But no, I think in Black Ops 4, we're probably not gonna see a return of weapon variants because Treyarch has a track record of not having any weapon variants. But we most likely, actually not most likely, we will 100% see supply drops coming back. And we'll probably be seeing like camos in there, and then like once the DLC weapons come out, I really hope they don't lock them behind the slot machine. They better release it or they better have some system to where you can buy them like separately through like in-game salvage or something like that. Because if we have another Black Ops 3 on our hands where all like the really good weapons, all the DLC weapons are locked behind a slot machine that you normally are not going to get anything good out of, it's probably going to just drive the Call of Duty franchise into a hole again. But that World War II has tried to dig them out of it.
The way they did Black Ops 3, when the game was the main Call of Duty game, none of the weapons they put in there were overpowered in any sense. I don't think.
Well, the FAMAS remake was kind of good when it first launched, but they nerfed it then.
Yeah. Like they released the AN-94 and the MSMC. Those are late. But that was like 3 months after Infinite Warfare came out.
Yeah. I
agree that like the entire luck thing, where that's the only way to get them, is wrong.
Absolutely. Like things should not be locked behind a paywall, basically, or a luck wall, or an RNG wall. And I think there's actually I don't remember where it was brought up, but there was like a bill that's been brought up in the U.S. like whatnot, that would require games that have like loot boxes in it to have on the packaging like the drop rates of each thing and like all that shit stuff.
A lot of people.
I heard Hawaii was actually banning games with a loot box system. So
I don't think they were thinking of I don't think they were banning it. I think they were just doing this legislation that has to be outlined of what all the chances are, and all that stuff. So there's been internal debate about like if the loot boxes is considered gambling. So like I don't know. There's a whole debate on that.
And I know Overwatch, they removed duplicates from their loot boxes because of that debate. So they completely, yes, it's all still luck. Well, no, it's actually not, because you can buy like stuff with tokens and stuff. But they just removed duplicates from their loot boxes. So you can actually get every item in the game if you play it enough.
Yeah.
Because you can't get duplicates.
Yeah, right. It's just like once you get an item, you then remove that from the loot pool. So your chances of getting everything else then go up.
Mm-hmm. Of course, they add constant items.
Oh yeah, but also the thing about Overwatch, it's all cosmetic. It's nothing game changing.
Oh yeah. And they make millions upon millions of dollars.
Well, yeah, so is Call of Duty though.
Yeah, but Overwatch more so.
Yeah, well, Overwatch I think is the bigger game. Like, well, obviously Call of Duty like tops like the yearly earnings or whatever, like the best-selling game each year. But Overwatch has constantly been in the top 5. That and GTA 5.
Yeah.
I just think Overwatch is just too complicated to some people. Just learning every hero, learning his weakness.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I would personally love to get into Overwatch, but the problem is I don't have the time to invest into learning those heroes. Like I've played it a couple times when it was free for some weekends, and it was just
free this weekend.
Yeah, it is. But I personally I only it was weird. Like me and my friends would just play against bots. That's all we did. Honestly, we didn't play against people. We just had fun doing whatever we wanted. My friend played as Reinhardt. I played as Bastion. I sat on top of the the payload, and I just shot from there while behind a Reinhardt shield. I don't remember what my other buddy did. He just like played random things. But like I would love to like get into it, play like a Diva or play like a McCree or something like that.
Yeah, you'd be a good DPS player. Just your aim in different games.
Yeah.
Which is what I play.
Overwatch is definitely a very fun game to play, and it's like I don't like playing the game solo, but playing it with friends definitely improves the quality of the game.
Yeah, playing ranked play with a full group.
Yeah. Like
you can get so into it.
Playing anything ranked with an actual team, like coordinating together, like actually being able to talk to each other and knowing each other's playstyles, it's a lot better than playing with just a few randoms.
Mm-hmm.
Because those randoms might just completely ignore you and just pick the hero you want. But no, I think Overwatch, like you look at right now, like League of Legends and CS:GO, those are like the top 2. Like maybe Dota might be in there. Those are like the top like esport games. But I think Overwatch is going to be making that stride into it. Like they're going to be pushing forward to really become like number 1. I don't think maybe the number 2, because I don't think League of Legends is going to be topped anytime soon.
No.
I think we've talked about basically everything. We went on a huge rant about the Battle Royale stuff, went into loot boxes, all that stuff. We've actually been live for an hour and 7 minutes, so I think that's good for a podcast.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Obviously it'll be better next week once Cobra's here. It'll keep us a little bit more on task, be able to talk a little bit more about the organization. Obviously right now I wasn't able to talk about the organization because I'm not in the loop. I don't know everything that's going on.
Apparently we just got a content via Twitter 40 seconds ago.
Did we pick up the female team?
No.
Oh, because I know we were going for a female team. Oh, yeah, this is our
Well, their names are Anthony, Connor, so I don't think they're.
Yeah, no, they're not. That's.
I could be wrong.
No,
but
I do believe this is our COD team that's going to CW Atlanta. Yeah. So yeah, our I talked about earlier how our Halo team was defeated in the at MLG Orlando. But yes, apparently we also got our COD team. If you go on Twitter, anyone who's watching, if you go on Twitter, it's at the top of the screen at NovaCoreGaming. You can see any news and announcements. We just announced our Call of Duty team that's going to CW Atlanta. Obviously, our sponsors down at the bottom, Pro Shop. It's a loot box that you can get that include a bunch of esports stuff, gaming stuff, just absolutely just amazing fine gear for one low price a month. And then Control Freak. Nothing more needs to be said about Control Freak. I'm pretty sure if you know what gaming is, you know Control Freak. There are stick extensions that go on your controller that make your aim a little bit more fine-tuned and whatnot.
I use them. I can vouch.
Yep, there you go. And then, of course, Dash Threads. That's our apparel. Obviously, we have, I say it's every single week. We have a shirt, a hoodie, a hat, and an amazing-ass jersey. They look absolutely amazing. If you want to pick one up, you can go to our Twitter. We'll have all the links there. We post quite a bit about our sponsors, so go ahead and look up there. And those are our sponsors. I think that's gonna go ahead and do it for the podcast. Thank you for joining me, Caleb, Ninja, and the Mighty Peeve here. Let's see.
Yes,
Tomorrow is
Absolutely.
Saturday. Who is streaming tomorrow? Keep you someone check the schedule on the streaming page or the streaming.
Helpless Kitten.
Helpless Kitten. Okay, I think that was more of a. That was more of like an expectation if he could get his controller working, but with how it looked on the chat, he might be playing some PC games. So again, follow us on Twitter for more information on that. If something else happens, then well, we'll announce it there. See who else is going live. We retweet anyone who actually does go live from the organization. So again, follow there. You'll get any information about who actually does go live. I will definitely not be streaming tomorrow if it comes down to it. I have streamed 3 days out of this week. I had to skip yesterday, which was my normal streaming time. Unfortunately, I just was way too tired to be doing that. But yeah, tomorrow is supposedly Helpless Kittens. If he is streaming, he will be playing some PC games. I think he said he was going to be playing The Old Republic, so Star Wars The Old Republic and MMO. If he actually does end up doing that. And then Sunday, I believe, is just open to anyone. So I believe this. So that Monday, I'll be back at 6 o'clock Central Time, going till 8:30 Central. And then Tuesday, I don't know, streams Tuesday. I'll have to get the new schedule out. I was named by Cobra. I was named the interim stream manager, so I have to now get the schedule made for this next week.
Awesome.
Yeah, great, because Cobra will be back on Monday, so then he can take it over. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys in the next stream, like hopefully tomorrow. Again, follow us on Twitter at NovaCoreGaming. Any information about the stream, we'll be able to announce it there. So, anyway, thank you anyone for watching. We'll talk to you guys in the next stream. I think next week Friday we'll most likely be doing another podcast, hopefully better than this one.
We should have the whole crew back next time.
Yeah, we should have.
Oh.
Yeah, we should have Cobra here. Hayden hopefully will be here as well. Most likely, Caleb here probably won't be joining us. He was kind of just like a last second thing to be joining us to just fill out this roster. But anyway, thank you for joining in, Caleb.
Yep.
Anyway, that's gonna do it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.